is a very special 58 DeSoto named Claudia, cousin to Christine. She weighs nearly 3,800 pounds, but can still run the quarter mile in an incredible 9.60 seconds. That made Claudia a very lusty competitor at the Chrysler Power Nationals.
I just love Mopars, man. They're just strong and they're fast.
And these were King Kong. These were the highest horsepower per weight ratio cars on the factory showroom.
There's no other car but a Mopar.
It's almost magical. A cloud of smoke, the whine of a Hemi engine, and you're taken back in time to that lonely road outside of town where the battle was one-on-one and the winner was king of the road.
They just don't make them anymore. They're special. They always will be special.
I had a fast Mustang, and then my friends all had fast Chevys and things like that. We were always scared to death of the Mopars.
It was a time when muscle cars flexed their horsepower, and the Arnold Schwarzenegger of muscle cars was a Chrysler Mopar. Mopar. It's shorthand for Chrysler Motor Parts Division, and it refers back to that era in the 1960s and 70s when gas was cheap and young people wanted the speed. Chrysler gave them the opportunity with lots of cubic inch lightweight cars and additional speed equipment from Mopar. It was a name to be reckoned with.
Everybody in town gave me that nickname, Mr. Mopar, because we'd go out street racing or whatever, and I'd sit around, I'd wait and let my buddies pick off everybody, and then if one couldn't beat them, then another one couldn't beat them, then they'd come get me, and I'd take care of it.
Mr. Mopar is just one of 500 Roadrunners, Barracudas, Dusters, Challengers, and Darts that showed up for this Mopar meet at the Los Angeles County Raceway. It's the biggest Chrysler gathering in the West, one of 100 nostalgic celebrations of Mopar power held each year.
To know that you could purchase a car back in 1970 that had a 426 Hemi in it that produced 425 horsepower in a 3,700-pound car, that makes it kind of exciting to have a piece of that history.
If there is a godfather to this Mopar generation, his name is Dick Landy. Landy climbed into his first Mopar in 1962, and it changed his life. He became a legend on the drag strip, a high-speed advertisement for Chrysler, and the inventor of the first funny car.
We got the idea that we should probably move the rear wheels forward a little bit to get a little better weight distribution. And then we decided, well, we'd move the front wheels too, because at the time the governing bodies were just measuring the wheelbase. And a little bit they didn't notice, so we went a little more. We went to the point where the car started looking a little bit funny and a little bit different. It was kind of the beginning of it. It was back in '64.
And when he wasn't playing with the wheelbase, Dick Landy was playing with the engine. He would wring so much power out of a Chrysler Hemi that he was forced to run with a weight handicap. The fun of racing had disappeared.
They started handicapping the car to the point where every year with the stroke of a pin, our car would become non-functional as far as we were concerned. We weren't competitive. I just couldn't race under those conditions anymore. It was too expensive to turn around and find out that your car was not competitive that season.
So Dick Landy turned to the engine business. His latest project is a 1962 DeSoto called Claudia that he outfitted with a 440 Chrysler.
The engine was so high we had to put a hood scoop on it, but other than that, the car maintained its stock appearance other than the tires and wheels.
Claudia's owner and driver is Fred Hampton.
I thought it was a good-looking car. It was something different that nobody else had, and it was something we wanted to do. And everybody at all the tracks, any place where we've taken the car, the response has just been outstanding. It's more than we ever imagined it would be. We ran a 956 and 143 with it, which was real respectable for that particular car.
Mopar nostalgia has been big business for Dick Landy. Many of the cars at this meet run his engines.
A lot of the guys, instead of having a 426 nostalgia engine for a Hemi, they'll make it like a 500 cubic inch. Still leave all the stock exterior appearance on it. They want just a little bit more power.
We have a lot neater stuff today than we did back in the early 70s. This one here dynoed at about 630 horsepower.
And nostalgia isn't as cheap as it used to be. Chrysler limited production on these cars, so if you can find one, expect to pay a bit more than the $4,000 you may have spent 20 years ago.
To get one that needs, say, a lot of work, you're probably looking at about $35,000 or $40,000 to get started. You could find one that's already done, that has not been raced or what have you. You're talking a minimum of $100,000.
For some people, price is obviously no object. If it means recapturing the past, that time of lost youth, before cars all looked the same, when engines churned out real horsepower, and a Mopar carried you down the road towards a future filled with drag racing dreams.
There's some beautiful cars out here. If we only would have known then what we know today, we could have had some of these beautiful looking cars.
They're the best.